Hello there, sixth graders. Welcome to the Reform Movements Language Arts and Social Studies unit. I want to read to you the unit overview. Throughout American history, people have seen the need to reform or change things for the better. In the 1800s, reformers worked to end slavery and make sure women would have basic rights, like the right to vote. In this unit, you will learn about the causes of ending slavery and getting women the right to vote. You'll also analyze some of the media messages these reformers and their opponents created. Finally, you'll have a chance to take on the role of a reformer yourself and create your own speech, letter, essay, fundraiser, political cartoon, or picket sign. The first lesson in this Language Arts and Social Studies unit is to learn about two reform movements. This is the social studies part of the lesson. In the second lesson, you're going to be analyzing media messages. That's a 2 or 3 day lesson. And finally, the end of this, you're going to take on the role of a reformer from the 19th century, go through the writing process to hopefully create your own propaganda for either the abolition movement or the suffrage movement. So let's take a look at the first lesson in this unit. It's called Reform Movements. And the first activity should be familiar to you by now. This is almost a pre-assessment activity where you either agree or disagree with statements. The second thing, you're just going to read through the main platforms or ideas of the reform movements. And finally, we're going to study 6 leaders, 3 from the abolition movement and 3 from the suffrage movement. So to start off, it's agree or disagree. Read each statement. And if you agree with it, type agree. If you don't know, you can write I don't know. And if you know it's false, if you know it's not true, feel free to write disagree. The second part of this lesson is just giving you some basic information about two movements. The suffrage movement. Suffrage means the right to vote. And in the 1800s or the 19th century, women did not have the right to vote. And there was a great movement called the suffrage movement by both men, women of all different races to try to get women the right to vote. The second movement is the abolition movement, and this was a movement to end slavery immediately for several reasons. You can read about those. The platform is usually the set of beliefs that a reformer has or that they stand for, and you can read about the platforms of the suffrage movement or the abolition movement here. Finally, the final part of this lesson is for you to watch a video, and you're going to use the information in the video to answer questions about 3 abolitionists, Harriet Tubman, William Lloyd Garrison, and Frederick Douglass, and also 3 suffragists, Sojourner Truth, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Susan B. Anthony. As you are going through this lesson, I want to encourage you to kind of decide which movement you feel strongly about. Obviously, these are two movements that in today's world seem pretty obvious, right? Everybody should get to vote, whether you're a man or a woman, and slavery is a terrible thing, and it should have been abolished long before it was, or hopefully never existed. But later, I just want you to know that later on in this lesson, you will need to kind of become a reformer for one of these two movements. And I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. So start thinking as you're going through this lesson which movement you're more inspired by, the abolition movement or the suffrage movement. Remember to see your teacher during office hours if you have any questions. And I hope you enjoy learning about these two reform movements today.